Hey, everybody. In today's blurb, I wanted to talk a little bit about the podcast I put live last week. It was kind of related to positive thinking and how you can't positive think your way out of every problem. And there's a little bit of confusion here. I'm just going to touch on a couple of things, but obviously, a positive outlook, realizing, there's a purpose. To your life and whatever you're trying to accomplish is good. But I don't know if inspired is the right word, but the reason I did that podcast was because a popular social media guru was talking about basically how you should just block out the negative and just, be positive. Well, what if your, kid died? What if you have cancer or something like that? It's not so simple as just, quote, being positive, right? Sometimes you have to deal with the negative. Just personally, for me, after I got divorced, for example, I just knew, okay, I've got to deal with kind of the sort of trauma here, just of, splitting a family up and all of the parts of that. Otherwise, I'm just going to be kind of suppressing this difficult scenario. And rather than if people were just like, oh, we'll just be positive, I would have been like, what are you talking about? It feels like my life just fell apart or something. So what I think was more useful was for me to spend time grieving, going to a counselor, learning about myself, learning about things I did wrong, learning about, different things I could fix and work on for myself. So some of this is just verbiage, but my point is basically that what we should do is actually sit in that negative or deal with that negative rather than just be positive, right? It's like, think about working out. Can you go positive think yourself to getting in shape or to, squatting 300 pounds? No, you've got to go do and deal with the hard things. And I'm not even saying that this guy was necessarily saying that, this social media guru, but he was kind of, it could be taken that way. And the other problem is you start feeling some shame, like, well, shoot, I don't feel positive. There's like some terrible things happening in my life, or I've made some big mistakes. So maybe something's wrong with me, or you feel guilty. Or all these people say, oh, well, block out negative people and keep away the negative energy. I'm not even fully sure what that means. But then you feel like, well, I don't want to be that person. People might block me out because I feel negative, right? So then you're kind of being blindly positive or, positive thinking and don't maybe really mean it or understand why you're supposed to feel that way, which can obviously lead to a lot of pressure and people can, feel like suicidal over these kinds of things. So it's just something to be careful of. Obviously, I'm not saying all positive thinking posts and memes and all that on Instagram, people saying this is all bad and people need to kind of be negative instead. And obviously the opposite, I'm not saying go around and complain and just be a victim, so don't hear what I'm not saying. But it's just a bit of a problem where we're always talking positive this, positive that, and we have to deal with reality. It's not so simple as just positive thinking. So it's kind of what I was trying to say is this is a simplistic approach to a complex problem to just say, block out the negative and just be positive, right? And I think we should look more at doing things that are useful, meaningful, and that make us content and not so much this kind of happiness, positive. Again, I hate lifting legs kind of, but I like building the strength in my legs for doing, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, kickboxing. I like the feeling after the workout of, kind of that intense leg workout, but frankly, it's quite negative. And again, this is a different type of example than, like an actual traumatic issue that you may have dealt with in your life that you can't just positive think away. So A, don't feel bad if you don't always feel positive. B, don't block out the negative. Try to deal with it. Try to learn from it and try to move forward in your life. I think that's the better goal so you don't have negative effects on yourself and on others. And that's the best way to move forward. So anyways, just a little blurb about the myth of thinking you can positive think all your problems away. So hopefully that's helpful for you guys. And definitely like, share, comment if any of it makes sense. And check out the podcast as well.